Welcome to my Let's Draw of 1000-Year-Old Vampire, a solo role-playing game created by Tim Hutchings. In this game, I'll be exploring the life of an ancient vampire through journal entries and comic pages. 1000-Year-Old Vampire is a game about memory, loss, and the passage of time, challenging me to dive deep into my character's journey as the centuries unfold. The choices I make in 1000-Year-Old Vampire will impact what memories my character keeps and which ones fade over time. It's a unique, introspective experience where survival, identity, and the slow erosion of self become basically the heart of the story. Rather than going in depth into the rules, we'll jump straight into the gameplay, where I'll create a character and dive straight into the prompts that shape this vampire's life. Throughout the journey, I'll document everything in my journal, and you'll see how I bring key moments to life through comic panels. I'm also using ChatGPT as part of this creative process. I use it to help me brainstorm ideas, help me reference ideas for the comics I'm drawing, and flesh out the story as I make decisions. And I'll show you how I use that along the way as well. ChatGPT has been a great tool for exploring new storytelling possibilities and adding depth to my vampire's journey, and honestly, it takes a lot of the effort out of it as well. So if you're a fan of storytelling, character development, and watching creativity literally unfold, I think you enjoy following along. Grab a cup of something to settle in, and let's begin unraveling the story of a vampire who has lived 1,000 years, maybe, and has forgotten so much along the way. Now that we've set the stage, it's time to create my character for 1000-Year-Old Vampire. As I mentioned for this playthrough, I'm using ChatGPT to help generate ideas and inspiration as I make decisions. So I asked ChatGPT, which I had already told I've been playing 1000-Year-Old, and I say, give me 5 character options from the year 1885 possibilities. And I didn't get very far down the list because the very first one, Amelia Wentworth, born in 1858, a pioneering British suffragette who fought fiercely for women's rights in London, I was already sold. I was like, I'm going to play Amelia's story. So this is basically how I do it. I ask the AI for options, and sometimes I give it direction like I did here, asking for someone that was typical from 1885. No, I have no idea the real veracity of this time frame and how these characters fit, but I really just wanted some quick options versus delving into any real history, which also would be a totally viable way to play, but I'm not doing that today. I also use ChatGPT for doing quick art references, which I amount to being an easier way than sifting through Google for images I kind of want to just, reference while I draw. I personally am no professional artist, and I have always just been an avid doodler, so I often will look at other things to get an idea of how to draw it, and have never trained professionally. We'll go through the rest of the character making process, and I ask for multiple examples so I can pick my favorites and do so, and I edit the ones I end up liking the best, or I just keep them as is. I find that using AI like this is basically a fast way of doing an oracle system, and I'll sometimes roll dice against what the AI has said and just go with that as well. I personally don't think there's any wrong way to do this. Now, I'm not really sure about all the spacing between the journal pages, but I'll figure that out as I go. I'm not too worried about keeping this journal perfect as it is. Now, with Amelia's beginning in place, we're ready to begin her journey through the ages. And let's see where the first prompts take us. So the game starts off pretty strongly. The very first prompt that everybody encounters is going to be, in your blood hunger, you destroy someone close to you. Kill a mortal character and take the skill Bloodthirsty. Alright, I had forgotten because it's been a while since I played this, so that was a great start. I'm going to go ahead and decide to just go to my character sheet and roll a d4 on this. I'm going to just check out these mortals and immortals and do that. Alright, so I rolled on Eleanor Fitzroy, a close childhood friend and fellow suffragette. She has a secret illness that she kept from me, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore. I have an idea of what happened with Eleanor, so I'm just going to go ahead and write it out and then draw it. One evening, soon after I had been turned by Victoria, Eleanor and I were protesting fairly late. I was still grappling with my new thirst. On our ways home, I found myself entranced. On this second panel, I did have a little bit of trouble, and I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to show me an image of somebody from behind, like a vampire from behind, eyeing somebody's neck. And then I just basically used it as reference. And once again, I'm not professionally trained, nor am I interested. I'm just doing this to get it out quickly. I drained her in an instant. We had known each other since 10 years old. All right, goodbye, Eleanor. And then we make sure we do the end of scene bookkeeping. We make sure we update the skills and our characters as necessary. All right, moving on. I roll again and I land on prompt number 6. A mortal character begins serving you. Who are they? And why are they drawn to you? So I've recently been rewatching the TV show Dexter, and immediately what popped into my mind was like this little creepy little boy who's like super into seeing me kill something. He's like fascinated. So I'm like, all right, that's what I'm going to go with. So I go back to my ChatGPT and I ask it for a name. And I go over to the other chat where I'm doing the art stuff, and basically I ask it for a couple more references. And then I come up with my panels. And here's what I wrote. Unbeknownst to me, at the time, someone saw me the night I drained Eleanor. I eventually learned Tommy O'Sullivan, a young orphan, saw me. He seemed infatuated, and I thought he wanted to be my son. He became like my shadow, running errands, all while he watched me, hoping I would kill again. Then I've got this dramatic zoom in on the eyes, right? I'm not going to continue to show all the bookkeeping, but there will be a link in the comments showing all the pages if you want to look at them in depth.
I roll again and move forward.
You develop a system for feeding. What is it? What happens to those who die? And the skill, I name it, seduction. So I actually didn't have any problems with this one. I immediately came to my head what my character was going to be doing during this time frame. I'm like, she's going to make dudes disappear. She was a suffragette, and now she's just like badass of the night. Maybe she's going a little bit like Dexter as well and just taking care of the trash. I get my little references from ChatGPT, I make my panels, and here's what happened. Regretful of devouring Eleanor, I vowed to take care of my urges before I lost control. I decided unsavory men to be my targets, those who visit brothels, drunks, and the like. I would draw them to secluded areas and drain them and leave. Tommy cleans up any evidence and collects valuables so I can continue living the life I deserve. That's it for this episode. I had a lot of fun doing this. It's something I've done before, but I haven't recorded and then edited for presentation before. So I'm hoping to actually do an entire playthrough of 1000 Year Old Vampire in this kind of comic panel format. And it should go a little faster. I think I had about 3 hours of raw footage doing this, but obviously it was my first time. I don't know how to use Adobe Premiere, and the setup obviously always takes longer. So thank you for joining me, and feel free to drop any comments. I will be happy to respond to any questions, and I'll see you next time on Let's Draw 1000 Year Old Vampire.